He mocked a widow in uniform hours later. The whole police force was on high alert. The widow's badge gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights, but to Officer Daniels, it was a joke. He sneered, his words slicing through the precinct's quiet hum. "You don't belong in that uniform, lady." Sergeant Aisha Monroe stood rigid, her jaw tight, her dark eyes burning with a fire that could have scorched the linoleum floor. A black woman, a widow, and a decorated officer, she'd worn her husband's old police badge for 10 years, honoring his sacrifice after he fell in the line of duty. Daniels, a brash rookie with a smirk that reeked of privilege, didn't care. To him, Aisha was an outsider, a target for his venom, laced with racial barbs he didn't bother to hide. The precinct, a small-town station in Willow Creek, had always been a tight-knit family, but Daniel's words ripped open a wound no one saw coming. It was a routine Tuesday morning when the incident unfolded. Aisha had just finished a double shift, her uniform crisp despite the exhaustion weighing her down. She was filing reports when Daniels, lounging at his desk, tossed out his taunt loud enough for the whole room to hear. "What's a widow like you doing playing cop? Shouldn't you be home knitting or something?" The room froze. Officers glanced at one another, unsure whether to laugh or intervene. Aisha's response was measured but razor-sharp. "This badge has more honor than you'll ever know." Daniels laughed, doubling down. "Honor? You're just a quota hire. Always will be." The words hung heavy, a spark in a room full of kindling. Aisha didn't flinch, but her silence was deafening. She walked out, head high, leaving Daniel's smug grin to fester. By noon, whispers of the confrontation had spread beyond the precinct walls. Willow Creek was small, and news traveled fast, especially when it carried the sting of injustice. Aisha wasn't just a cop. She was a pillar of the community, known for her quiet strength, her work with at-risk youth, and her unwavering commitment to fairness. Daniel's mockery wasn't just personal, it was an attack on everything she stood for. By late afternoon, the town square was alive with murmurs. Aisha's supporters, neighbors, friends, and local activists gathered outside the station, holding signs that read, "Justice for Aisha," and "Honor her service." The crowd grew, fueled by years of unspoken tensions in a town where racial divides simmered beneath the surface. Daniel's words had ignited something bigger, a reckoning no one could ignore. A wooden signpost appeared, its handwritten message bold and unyielding: "Justice for her honor." Inside the precinct, the mood was electric. Officers were split. Some stood by Daniels, claiming he was just joking, while others, loyal to Aisha, demanded accountability. The chief, a grizzled veteran named Hargrove, tried to quell the storm, but it was too late. By dusk, the crowd outside had swelled to hundreds, their chants echoing through the streets. A flare went up, casting an eerie glow over the scene. The police, now in riot gear, formed a line, their faces masks of conflict, loyalty to their own clashing with the weight of public outrage. Aisha, who'd gone home to clear her head, returned to the station when she heard the news. She didn't want Thesa Town torn apart, a force divided. But as she stepped into the parking lot, the crowd parted, their cheers a mix of pride and pain. She saw the signpost, its words a raw plea for justice, and her heart sank. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every person who'd ever been dismissed, demeaned, or dehumanized because of their skin, their gender, their story. Daniels, now pale and shaken, stood at the precinct's entrance, his bravado gone. Hargrove had suspended him pending an investigation, but the damage was done. The crowd's anger wasn't just at Daniels, it was at a system that let his words slide for too long. Aisha approached the chief, her voice steady despite the chaos. "This isn't about me," she said. "It's about all of us. We fix this together, or we lose everything." Hargrove nodded, calling for a town hall meeting that night. Aisha took the stage, her uniform a symbol of resilience. She spoke of her husband's sacrifice, of her own fight to belong, and of the need for change not just in Willow Creek, but everywhere. "We don't heal by pointing fingers," she said, her voice breaking but strong. "We heal by listening, by standing up, by building something better." The crowd fell silent, then erupted in applause. Daniels, watching from the sidelines, slipped away, his shame a heavy shadow. By morning, the precinct announced mandatory sensitivity training and a review of its culture. The town, though bruised, began to talk about the divides that had festered too long. Aisha returned to work the next day, her badge gleaming brighter than ever. The wooden signpost remained, a quiet reminder of a moment when one woman's strength turned a spark of hate into a flame of hope. Willow Creek wasn't perfect, but it was trying. And that, Aisha knew, was a start. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.